The air hung heavy in the F-train car. The rhythmic clatter of the tracks provided a steady backdrop to the murmurs and rustlings of passengers lost in their own worlds. 14-year-old friends Navid, Kingson, and Christos huddled together, their eyes glued to their phones. They were on their way home, their thoughts consumed by basketball and video games. But their ordinary afternoon was about to take an extraordinary turn. As the train screeched to a halt at the next station, a figure emerged from the throng of disembarking passengers. A chill ran down Kingson's spine, knowing something was off. He nudged his friends, his voice barely a whisper. "Isn't that him?" he asked, his finger trembling as he pointed at a grainy picture on his phone screen. The face staring back at them from the phone belonged to Sebastian Zapeta-Calil, the prime suspect in the gruesome murder of Debbie Kawam, a homeless woman who had been set ablaze on a subway train just weeks earlier. The case had gripped the city, a chilling reminder of the vulnerability of the city's most vulnerable. Fear warred with a sense of duty in the hearts of the three teenagers. For a moment they froze, their eyes darting between the phone and the man who stood just feet away. But the gravity of the situation soon took hold. They knew they had to act. Instinct took over. Navid, his hand trembling, pulled out his phone and dialed 911. He spoke in hushed, urgent tones, relaying their location and a description of the man who stood just a few feet away, seemingly oblivious to their attention. As they waited for the police to arrive, the minutes stretched into an eternity. Every creak of the train, every cough from a nearby passenger sent their hearts racing. They kept their eyes trained on Zapeta-Calil, their bodies tense with a mixture of fear and adrenaline. Finally, the train screeched to a halt at the next station. Uniformed officers stormed the car, their faces grim. They moved swiftly, apprehending Zapeta-Calil without resistance. Relief washed over the teenagers, followed by a sense of pride. They had done the right thing. They had helped bring a killer to justice. News of Zapeta-Calil's arrest spread like wildfire. The city breathed a collective sigh of relief. The teenagers were hailed as heroes, their faces splashed across newspapers and television screens. They received a citation from the city council, their bravery commended by Mayor Adams himself. But amidst the accolades, a bitter truth emerged. The NYPD had offered a $10,000 reward for information leading to the arrest of Sebastian Zapeta-Calil. But the reward came with a caveat. Tips had to be submitted through the Crime Stoppers hotline. The teenagers, in the heat of the moment, had called 911. The NYPD, bound by the rules of the reward program, informed the teens that they were ineligible for the $10,000. The news landed like a punch to the gut. What should have been a moment of unadulterated triumph was now marred by a bureaucratic technicality. Outrage and disappointment, voices from a divided city. The city erupted in a firestorm of controversy. How could these teenagers, who had risked their own safety to bring a dangerous criminal to justice, be denied their due reward? Outrage poured in from all corners of the city. "They're kids!" exclaimed Kingson's mother, her voice shaking with anger and disbelief. "They did what they were taught to do, call 911 in an emergency." Navid's father echoed her sentiments. "They deserve that reward, and more importantly, they deserve our gratitude." City Council member Susan Zhuang, a vocal advocate for the teenagers, slammed the NYPD's decision as absurd and counterproductive. "We should be encouraging young people to report crimes, not punishing them for doing the right thing," she declared. Curtis Sliwa, founder of the Guardian Angels, joined the chorus of criticism, calling the situation a bureaucratic loophole that defies common sense. Section 5. A question of fairness. Balancing rules and recognition. The case of the three teenagers shone a harsh light on the often convoluted world of law enforcement reward programs. While the NYPD maintained that the rules were in place to protect the anonymity of tipsters and ensure the integrity of the Crime Stoppers program, many argued that the teenagers' case presented an exceptional circumstance. The teenagers, thrust into the national spotlight, became a symbol of a system grappling with its own complexities. Their story sparked a much-needed conversation about the balance between upholding rules and rewarding acts of courage. In the end, the teenager's story is not just about a $10,000 reward, it's a story about courage, about civic duty, and about the often murky waters of bureaucracy. It's a story that forces us to ask ourselves, what is the price of justice and who should pay it? What do you think? Should the teens be paid the reward or not? Thanks for watching. Stay weird out there.